Hello my friends on YouTube. This is a new review or presentation of a different knife, a very special knife in my collection, mostly because it's the most expensive, but I think there's a lot of good in it, and I definitely wanted to see what you get when you pay a little extra. So I went the full 9 yards and went for a 35 VN steel, titanium, as I said, the whole 9 yards. This is the Kizer Zugang knife, also known as KI 4439A1. I think Zugang is a bit easier to remember. This knife comes in two versions. I chose the version which has a very pristine handle, really a very smooth and clean look. And then again, I know that a lot of other knives have sort of the same look. A lot of grey titanium knives out there. I recognize that, and I'll not be buying a ton of those because they seem to tend to remind to look a bit alike, I think. This one is special though because of the blade shape, especially. I call it a cleaver shape, but you might also call it a reverse tento, but still a different and unique blade shape, which I kind of like. And if you look at the blade, it is sort of bead blasted, which means that it's not that prone to scratches, or at least you can't see them that much, but still a very, very nice blade shape. I like it a lot. It has a lot of belly, and well, it is a bit of a novelty blade, but still I find it quite attractive. Thumb studs I find a bit superfluous, but they're there and they're functional, and I don't really think I use them that much on a flipper knife, but they're there. Now the knife came in two versions. Originally it was called the KI 4439, and that's the old version, which had I'll put up some pictures in this video, but it had some Chinese markings or printings on the handle and a hole in the blade. I've thought that I don't know how to explain it. I thought that it looked a bit cheap with those Chinese letters, so I went for the cleaner, newer version. And then I understand that both what they call the old and the new version are still made, but what is considered the old version still now doesn't have a hole in the blade around here I'm pointing, which kind of added to the cleaver shape, cleaver fashion, but apparently they dropped that, and I think that's a bit of a shame. Actually, if I should have chosen, I would have liked that kind of blade on this handle, but then I guess you can't have it all. The reason I told you a little bit about the price is because this is around €200 knife. I was fortunate enough to get it a lot cheaper, €50 cheaper, at 150, 145 euro, shipped 150, but still it is a €200 knife, and I think the dollar amount is about the same, perhaps a bit cheaper. Everything knife-wise is a bit cheaper in the US. This is not going to be the usual knife for my channel. I simply cannot afford them, but I had a bit of money and I got a good offer in a group buy, so I thought, what the hell, I'll just try for once. Good steel, good materials all over, good steel, good titanium handle, everything, sort of to get to know what they're talking about. As I said, if we're looking at the handle, it is very smooth, very nicely rounded off. Fit and finish is absolutely marvelous on this one. Can't really complain. There are no hot spots whatsoever, and everything is, as I said, now nicely rounded off. Titanium pivot screw, but I think the other hardware is just ordinary metal. But the pivot screw is titanium, and although it looks a bit special, it still is just ordinary Torx screw inside this pivot screws, Torx bits you can use inside this, and it is a Torx 10, and the others are Torx 8 as far as I remember. I sort of tried to put a driver to this one to take it apart, and I realized that actually these two screws at the back were loose, one of them to the extent that it was about to fall out. So if Kizer's own warranty is that you can't touch the knife with a screwdriver, then I think they should do a little better job of tightening the screws, a little better quality control. Very small issue, but still I think the least you could do was to check that the screws were tight. What strikes me in this case is that to get the knife together good and get a smooth action, you just have to tighten everything up. The tolerances are so that you just tighten it up firmly, and then everything functions the way it should. No need to fiddle with the pivot, tighten or loosen to get a better action. It fits, or it feels right when you just crank it. No problem there, and I think that's the way it should be on such an expensive knife. Let's have a look at the censoring. Not perfect. It favors the backside just a little bit, but not a big issue. And lockup, I would say around 40%. And as we look at the lockup, we notice that there's a stainless steel insert in the titanium, which is nice. So you don't wear down the titanium and you don't get that much lock stick. As we can see, even in my hand, people say I have big hands. It is a rather big knife, and I got a good piece of knife sticking out at the end of my hand, so even for the biggest hands I think this will be quite alright. Just for size comparison, we have a Sanrenmu 7010, a lot smaller knife, and what can we choose? Perhaps I think we go with real steel Thor, about the size of a real steel Thor. Yes. Ergonomically, as I said, this is a very smooth, very rounded off knife, and that means that it fits so nicely in your hand, in the normal grip, reverse grip, very nice indeed as well. And even reverse, what do I call it, reverse cut, draw cut, it is very nice. So definitely a nice knife in every configuration you could imagine. I like it very much ergonomically. The action is it's on bearings, cage bearings, and is super smooth. Very, very nice indeed. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. It drops shut, which of course in part is because of a rather heavy blade, but it is extremely smooth, and of course it even smoothened up a little as I used it. I have to tell you, overall I'm over the moon by this one. I really, really love it, and I realize I love it even more because, of course, because I paid a lot of money for it, and perhaps I'm a bit, I don't know what you could call it, starstruck perhaps. I have knives which on some points are maybe a little better than this or as good, but this one just ticks so many boxes at once. The smoothness, the sharpness, the design, I love the design, really, really love it. And I think this is sort of an example what you get when you pay that extra money. As I say, I can perhaps produce a €15 knife that has equal action, and another that has equal blade or sharpness or whatever, but this one just ticks all the boxes at once, which is so nice. It sort of brings me up into a discussion that I've been thinking a lot about, because this knife is definitely gonna be the one with the best materials. And you know, when you look at reviews on the internet, people always sort of discuss if this knife only had been made with better materials and so on and so forth, then it would have been so much better. Well, this one is better materials, but am I going to use it for a beater? No, definitely not. I have to admit it, I'm a knife lover, I'm a knife collector, I am a knife user too, but I just have other knives that I would rather beat on than this one, because to me knives are also a bit of little pieces of art, and I don't see the reason for destroying my best piece of art. Perhaps this doesn't make sense to you if you are a very hard knife user and you just think about something for the forests. I think this one definitely would be suitable for forest work as well, but I wouldn't use it for it because I can't afford I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 other knives at €200. So I think I'll reserve the right to just enjoy this as a little piece of art, and as being a knife lover, I just appreciate it a little, just as a nice piece of functional art. That's the way I am. I value this because it definitely had a bit of money value to me, and I value it because it looks so nice in a pristine condition with no scratches. But it is a relevant discussion. I just think that being a knife collector, I have in excess of 50 knives, I think. Why would I use the most expensive or my most expensive knives for beating when I have so many other that I can easily replace, and that fills out the function? But I do recognize the issue that you go out and you buy something with the best materials because they are the most wear resistant materials, and then you don't use them. I realize it, That's the way it is. I'm not gonna put this in a safe. I don't have any safe queens, but I definitely have light use and hard use knives, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. So a little bit of a rant, or I'm just rambling along, but I just want to say I love this knife. It is very, very nice. The only little thing was the issue with the screws, a little bit of a quality control issue perhaps, but other than that, I am really enjoying this knife. Well, that was my thoughts about this Kizer Zugang. I hope you have a nice day or evening or whatever it is in your country, and bye bye.